Hey everyone, my name is Jack Williams with,
Ehsan Kassim.
and welcome to our second episode of our post game Seminole script that we're starting up. It did so well against Miami that we had to bring it back for North Alabama, the final game here at Doak Campbell this season. Final score here at Doak Campbell 58-13, but the big thing that we're taking away from this game is what happened to Jordan Travis leaving the game early with an apparent left leg injury. He was carted off and then taken by ambulance to what we presume right now is the hospital. We don't have any sort of update right now as to what his status is. Mike Norvell said he doesn't have an update right now in his post game presser. But I mean, what are your thoughts just on the injury?
Man, that was a brutal injury to watch. I think we talked about it in the press box. I don't think I've seen an injury worse in person. I've seen high school injuries. I've seen different injuries. That was just brutal to watch. The air was literally sucked out of the stadium senior night. It was loud. Florida State's still down 13-0. It was not, great at that point, but the air, everything positive was sucked out of the air. But credit to the Florida State football team because they could have folded. It's an FCS team, a 3-1 FCS team. They're not very good, but they gave Florida State everything they could handle in that first quarter. Second quarter, Florida State, Tate Rodmaker comes in the game. First drive, they go down and score a field goal. Then they score. I don't know how many times they scored a touchdown in a row, but they took control, enforced their will against a team that they were clearly superior, talent wise, size wise, everything, up and down. But the team deserves credit because when mentally they could have crashed and burned, and they did not.
They did not know, absolutely. I mean, it was really a kind of a stunning moment here that happened at Doak Campbell. As you mentioned, the energy was sucked out of the stadium. Even in the press box we were in, there was just this feeling of kind of gloom that set over, and it really didn't leave the entire game. Even when FSU began to run away with the game, yes, there was the joy that they were kind of expanding that lead, almost covering the line as well. But there was still that feeling of what's happened next and stuff like that. You saw both teams come off each sideline to kind of you know bring Travis up when he was coming off the field, and we saw too he put on his Snapchat story, Instagram story as well when Brock Glenn came into the game later in the fourth quarter and kind of gave him a pat in the back for his performance that he has well too. But I mean, we did see some good thing. One good thing that we can take away from this this awful injury that had happened was the game that Tate Rodemaker played and what we could possibly see going forward into Florida next week and more than likely the ACC championship game.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Tate played a great game for what he came into. I'm going to credit Alex Atkins and Mike Norvell. They called the correct plays. They put him position to succeed. There was a couple times where there's a drop ball by Gene Bell that was pretty bad. There was a few plays that the receivers got to help the quarterback out on. But Tate came in, was putting the ball in the right spot, was making his throws, was doing everything he needed to do to get this team to a win. I mean, once again, we would need to see more of Tate what he does against a Florida Florida's defense is not very good, but as we saw, Graham Mertz also went down with an injury, so we could be facing two backup quarterbacks head to head next week when we're in Gainesville in the swamp for that night game next week. But man, just Tate gutted it out today. Good performance. Running backs had a great, Keziah Holmes I think had 5 touches, 2 touchdowns. CJ Campbell came on and had a 70-yard touchdown run. Trey Benson had a touchdown run. One thing we probably need to talk about is I don't think he came back in the game after he hurt his hip on the sideline over there.
We didn't. I mean, it was more of a. It was kind of. It was either over here or over here.
On this side.
Over here on this sideline. I don't know if the camera goes that far, but it was kind of. It looked like a more, a little bit more of an aggressive play. You could take it as you will and stuff like that. It looked like there was a little bit of a shove when he got out of bounds, stuff like that. It looked like he fell on his back.
It looked like he was grabbing his hip. Mike Norvell made his way from this sideline to over there. I'm sure that was not the only reason. I mean, Trey Benson was obviously his first and foremost worry, but I'm sure he was also just let the ref know, like, hey. I personally think it was a bang bang play out of bounds. I would not call a penalty on that one, but I could see why someone would want it because it was clearly out of bounds. But fans did chant "Ref, you suck" after that, so we did get that. This was not an NBA game, but we still got "Ref, you suck," which is always enjoyable to hear.
Right. And I mean, it was kind of an aggressive game throughout as well. I mean, this North Alabama team was hungry, and we did see it from the beginning of the game as well. I mean, even before Travis got injured, they were out to a 13-0 lead. They were kind of just, it was their last game of the year. They kind of just threw the whole playbook out there, to say the least.
I mean, in that first half, we talked about it. Like, they were trying exotic plays, they were trying different things, and everything was clicking. In the second half, when Florida State defense kind of figured it out, they had tried a double pass and were just not there anymore. But in the first half, they had a reverse play, which was a huge gainer. That fake punt, that was a great play call. I dinged Florida State's in my grades that are already up. I dinged Florida State's special teams for that a little bit because this team is desperate. They're going to do everything. To not expect that play at all and then make it as big of a play as it was not great. But you know, still special teams. Quindarius Jones ended the game with a I think he recovered the punt, but I think I can't remember who Norvell said who got the block. I didn't catch that. I think it was KJ Sampson maybe.
Liam McCormick, right?
Yeah, Liam
Liam
McCormick
McCormick.
and KJ Sampson. He said gave a shout out to his press conference, getting penetration, getting there, getting the block, getting their hands on the ball. Quindarius Jones picked it up. He was a wide receiver in college a little bit, so athletic guy. Norvell said that he was not going to let the kicker beat him.
No, they
So
got the wheels
he
on that.
picked up the ball, ran into for the score, and I think Keziah Holmes said it. He was sprinting on the sidelines, a fellow freshman sprinting on the sidelines. The entire team went and celebrated. Like you can tell, like this team, the culture is what carries this team. A lot of times they have talent, but the culture that is here, and we talk about this all the time. All these players are great to talk to the media, and that is a good sign of how well this program is run. They are not gonna be petty. They're gonna come out and talk to us no matter what.
Mm.
No matter what kind of practice they have, what kind of game they have. It's a good group, and the culture. When you see that kind of thing, when the and just I want to point out, North Alabama, the entire team it looked like was out there in the field when Travis went down to console him as well. That tells you about Jordan Travis, and he's the leader of this program.
Mm. They talked a lot about that as well to Jarian Jones. It seemed like he was, getting a little bit emotional as well too, talking about that. That's our leader, Jordan Travis, J Trav, as they call him, is our guy and stuff like that. Even when he was down, he's saying, "I'm good, I'm good, I'm good." It clearly didn't look like from the replay it was great, but that was played a little too much on TV. If I want to interject my opinion in there,
Come
but
on, CW, be better.
yeah, it was a little inappropriate. No, it was inappropriate, but I mean, you could tell the players are a little rattled up about it because Jarian Jones made one statement about it. He said, "I don't really want to talk about J Trav anymore."
Lawrence told Philly right away, said, I don't want to talk about Jordan Travis tonight.
Yeah, they're rattled, but they were able to respond here. And for honestly, a very odd game that I don't think me and you expected was going to go this way at all with the injury. And this was a game that both of us predicted that Florida State was going to drop 70 points in, and it
I
just
mean,
turned into something.
I had a 70-14 final, I believe. So
You got pretty close. I had
not
six
far off.
points. I had 6 points, and as soon as North Alabama got in the end zone, I was like, okay, that's done. But if they reversed the second touchdown with the first touchdown, I could have had a chance, but 13. But there's still some great highlights of this game too. Of like, it's sad because you have that big injury that's really going to take the attention from this game. But there were great moments throughout this game. I mean, when Lawrence Toffoli scored, and you had the entire 2013 team rushing into the end zone with him, and that was just a fun moment as well. As you mentioned, Quindarius, the moment he had as well, Jarian Jones, the game he had, and just to the fumble recovery, and then the interception. I mean, there were a lot of high points in this game, but it's just weighed out by something just tragic to say the least.
Yes, I mean, it's the tragic, the Travis injury. Yes, you look at the 58-13, it looks like a domination, but, Washington just beat Oregon State on the road by 2 points, I think.
It was a very close.
Close game. Is Florida State going to be dinged for that? For this perform? I mean, granted, it was an emotional game. All of that, are they going to be dinged on the college football playoff committee? I mean, not that it matters. Michigan, played a close game with Maryland this week, and they have Ohio State next week. Everything's going to sort itself out. But could we see Florida State dip to number 5 this weekend? This Tuesday could be interesting. I mean, it does not matter. They have Florida with probably we made the joke in the in the press conference room. Graham Mertz, Max Brown against Tate Rodemaker, just like we drew up before the season.
Right. No, that's exactly how it was going to come across. But I mean, next week is going to be an interesting game to say the least in Gainesville. It is, I don't think it was thought that this game was going to be as emotionally charged as it was. You're coming off a Miami game that's very emotionally charged. You're going into another game that's an emotionally charged one, and then another one with the ACC championship.
And I think it should be important to note Florida's going to be a desperate team. They came out and played a Missouri team. They were, I think, favored to lose by 11.5 points, and they played them, lost by a field goal, and they're gonna be. I think someone said it was a 11.5 point line that opened up. That's obviously going to change.
Right.
With the quarterback situation, we don't know who's going to play for either team. But Florida's going to be playing for bowl eligibility. Florida State's obviously going to be playing for the playoffs. So a lot on the line.
There's a lot in the back. This is considering that this was supposed to be this upcoming week, me and Esther were planning for a slower week, it being Thanksgiving. This is going to be a very unexpected, well, or at least not as expected, important week for everyone, whether it be the college football playoff rankings, it being this Florida State game, it being finding out what Jordan Travis's status is going to be. There's a lot of things. Even the Trey Benson, we didn't see Kalen DeLoach play. I mean, there's a lot up in the air this week. And Thanksgiving, but uh, any final thoughts on the game here?
I mean, it was a more entertaining game than it needed to be. It was a longer game than it needed to be. We are exhausted, but we're here to record this video for you. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for listening. Jack, where can they find us on social?
Yeah, you can find all of our socials at Knoll Sports, whether that be on X/Twitter, on Facebook. It's TLH Knoll Sports on Instagram. My personal X handle is that's so again, I'll never get over saying that. My personal X handle is Jack G Williams. His is Ehsan_Kassim. We have a YouTube channel that this is on. Please like and subscribe to our channel and like all of our videos because we work very hard on these videos as well.
I mean, we'll have I think we might have a surprise for you guys tomorrow after the soccer match.
Yeah, stay tuned. But yeah, we will see you guys on Wednesday for our midweek show. Until then, yeah, thank you, and we'll see you then.